Wow. What a surprise.
Haven't seen you guys since last year.
That's a long time.
That joke never gets old.
It never does.
Welcome to the Hangout. We are live on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and around the world.
It's good to be
everybody
back.
doing? I know.
Yeah.
Joseph
For
is back
sure.
too, directing the stream.
Hello. Hopefully I didn't
Wow.
blow anyone's ears out with that, but glad to be back.
No. No, yeah. Glad everybody's back. I don't know. It's just like we didn't intend to have a break, and then it just kind of ended up being a break. So it was.
I think it was because I got COVID and then I was just like sick for all of the month of December.
Yeah, and then
between that and the
Christmas,
holidays.
Christmas and the holidays, and
Yep.
I don't remember. There was something that I had to do that I didn't get. Well, I'll kick it off. I know Tim has something he wants to share, but I'm going to kick it off first since I'm the host, and today, since Tim didn't want to host, he doesn't get to. He'd make him. So, over the holidays, I went to bed one night, and as many of you know, I use my iPad as a white noise machine at night, and I put my AirPods in. Well, I went to bed, and like somehow in the middle of the night, my white noise went off, and I was like, "Well, that's weird." And so I click it, and I'm like tapping the screen, nothing's happening, and I'm like, "Well, that's weird." I wonder if it came unplugged. And no, it's plugged into the iPad. So I tested it, like I unplugged it, plugged it back in, nothing. I'm like, this is weird. It's got to be unplugged from the back wall. So it's like the middle of the night. It's like 1:00 in the morning. And I'm pulling out my. I turned the overhead light on, but my wife sleeps with a face mask on over her eyes, so she didn't see this. But anyway, so I turned the light on. I opened I pulled out my dresser, and I'm like, no, it's plugged in. The power switch is on, or the surge protector is on. It's connected. Like, what's going on? So I took it for some additional diagnostics. Went into my office, and I tried another power cable, and that didn't work. I'm like, well, this is weird. So I was like, okay, I'll just plug it into my laptop and see what it is. Well, I plug it into my laptop, it's in recovery mode. And I'm like, well, that's weird. Like, how did it get into recovery mode? So I did the restore, or I did the recovery. So I went and I downloaded the operating system, the latest version of the operating system. I said yes to all the things. It downloaded and then sent it all to my iPad. And then it booted up. The Apple logo comes on. And then it pops up with an error message saying unable to restore. I'm like, what the hell is going on with this? And I was like, well, this is weird. So anyway, so I did that like multiple times. I got nothing but the error message. I tried to Google search it. A lot of people said it's something with the motherboard and the way the software transfers from the computer into the motherboard to load it onto the iPad. So I was like, okay, well, I can't do anything about it now. So I went back to bed. I scheduled a Genius Bar appointment for the next day, or later that day, I should say, for U Village, because Bellevue was all filled up. And so I took it to them, checked in. By the way, if you're there more than 10 minutes early, they won't check you in. Or they won't check you in. They can only check you in 10 minutes. I was like 15 minutes. But anyway, so took it in there. Got checked in finally. Waited around. Genius guy came over, took me back to the Genius Bar. Sat there for a few minutes. Another guy came up, plugged it in, tried the same thing I all did the recovery mode, did all the reset settings on the power button and the volume up and volume down rockers. Nothing. Got the same error that I did. Every time it was a different error. Kept typing everything into his iPad. Well, about, I don't know, 15 minutes after that, he was like, well, looks like it's dead. It's shot. There's nothing we can do about it. I can replace it though for you, but it's gonna be $4.99 because it's out of warranty. I didn't have Apple Care on it. So I was like, well, damn, like 450 or four whatever, like that's a big chunk of money for an iPad that's 2 years old. And he said, I'm just gonna get a refurbished iPad or one that may have been returned or something like that. It's a new product, and stuff like that, and it'll come with a 90-day warranty. Like, well, I kept thinking about it, and I'm like, well, might as well just upgrade to the newest iPad. There's nothing really different between the iPad 4th generation that I had and the 5th generation in design specs. So I was more reluctant to do that than upgrade to a different version. I thought about actually going down to the original iPad because, again, I don't use any of the pro features in it. I mean, it's it's basically a streaming machine, task manager, email reply, that type of thing. So I was like, anyways, I ended up doing the M1 iPad Air, but this is a brick, paper brick. It is a paperweight. There is nothing that can be done. I have reached out to 3 different repair companies asking, hey, here's what the problem is. Can you fix anything on it? Can you fix the motherboard? No, nobody is saying. Everybody is saying that this. So
Yeah, but it's
I
a
have
really cool looking paperweight.
I have a
Yeah.
$700 paperweight, and I don't
That's
know
a
what
pretty
to do
big
with it.
paperweight.
I don't know what to do with
Hold
it.
papers.
I know. I was thinking about doing some YouTube video, or not YouTube, well, YouTube or TikTok or something like that, of me like throwing it out the window or something. I don't know. I don't really. I don't know what to do with it. It sits
It's
in
a
my
quick
drawer.
way to get some hate.
Yeah, it sits in my drawer though. Um, so I will say though, my new iPad right here, everything fits in it. All the accessories work for it, which is cool. Um, so and then I did get Apple. Because for $70, I mean, that gives you some peace of mind. You won't have a $700 paperweight in
Yeah.
a few years.
Now, how old was
So,
your old one?
like a year and a half, something like that. I think.
That's a bummer.
I don't remember exactly.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly when I got it, but
If it was like 3 or 4 years old, it would have been a little bit softer blow.
yeah. I mean, so there is some upsides to upgrading. I do get the M1 chip in this. I have noticed that this is a lot faster than the one without the M1 chip. So, yeah. And then the screen is actually really nice. I don't know that there's a lot of difference with it, but I'm not using a screen protector on this now because I do have Apple Care. So I'm like, why would I need a protector? I might as well get the best look out of it. So, and everything. I did get the blue version though. You can kind of see color there, but get the blue version. Had it in stock. So, and then it's of course the 256 because I like to download content. So, anyways, so that is my experience that was very unwelcomed. I also, not to get on an Apple rant, but my camera is also like when I open up my camera app on my iPhone, it flickers like just goes in and out. I
Upgrading
guess
to
it's a
16.2 didn't fix it for you?
I don't think so. No. So, anyways, so I have that, but I'm about less than a month away from my. So, I think I'm just pulled out. I get the 14. So, All right. Well, since Tim's going last this time, Roy, do you have anything you would like to share about your expanded, unexpected vacation from the show?
I not only had a vacation from the show, but I had a vacation from work. It was a very nice 9-day weekend that I was able to score for only burning like 4 actual days of vacation at work just because I lined up the holidays right. Um, I don't have a whole lot to share. I am also now currently using uh, an iPad Air. Um,
Wow, that looks very similar to my case too.
it's
So
it's a
I
nice
have
it's a
to
nice
say, if
case.
you go to my Twitter account, so I shared my Apple home screen. I'm very proponent about sharing all my home screens so that everybody sees what it looks like and how my productivity works. I shared that. That works too. Tim got not, or excuse me, Roy didn't not only get the same iPad as me, the M1 iPad Air, but he also got the same case as me. And he has the same home screen layout as me.
Almost the same.
You have the same widgets in the same area.
I don't have no. You have your inbox widget
I
where I
said
have
you
my
have the
weather widget.
same, yeah, but you have the same widgets in the same area. You may have different widgets, but you have the same layout. That's what I'm saying.
It's a
Roy
very
just
functional look. Okay,
Roy just wants to be like Matt. Okay.
it's a very
He went out.
functional
He
setup.
went out and got the AirPod Max
It's
after me. He
so
went out and got the.
it's
He went out and not only that, he went out and got the AirPod
hold up.
Pros.
The setup that I have on the iPad is by happenstance similar to your setup. I didn't reference anything when I chose it. I
This to the
just
person.
set it up and
This to the person who goes out and get AirPod Max right after me. That I texted him that I bought the AirPod Pros, and then he goes out and gets them.
what? Tim, don't you have anything to share yourself?
You're up, Tim.
Oh, sorry, I lagged out. I lagged out for a second and lost everything, and then y'all just staring at me. Okay. Um,
Roy wants me
so,
to get the spotlight off of him as quickly as possible.
so my break was pretty good. For Christmas, um, family got me an iPad Mini 6th generation, which I have been using like crazy with school and just productivity. And then I also bought a off-brand folio. Is this folio? I don't know what this is, but case works perfectly
Folio.
fine. Feels great. um, does exactly perfect. And then a off-brand Apple Pencil that was like $30 and works perfectly because it charges off the iPad and it also shows you the percentage of charge
Hey,
on there.
Tim,
What?
thank you for not copying me. I appreciate it. And that's a lovely looking home screen that doesn't look just like mine. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes, of course. I'm not a sponge. And then and then I got, you can't really see it, but I got a paper-like screen protector, which makes it so when you're writing with the Apple Pencil, it feels like you're writing on paper, and I love it. Like it's everything looks. I
Does
just
the
love it.
screen does the screen clarity? Do you lose clarity in the screen when you put it on there? Because that's the
I
way it is with
mean,
my screen protector that's on my old iPad, which is a Zag glass one.
a little bit. Like, I guess if you like stare a little bit, maybe it's a little bit, but otherwise you barely notice it.
When I went to New York, I had my in my hotel, I had my laptop set up and I had my iPad, and somebody commented on one of my reels that the screen protector was blowing out the clarity of my iPad. That is probably why my screen looks so much better, I feel like, on my newer iPad versus my older one, because I don't have that.
Yeah. You'll have to test it out when we meet up in person, but I really like it. It's just it feels nice. It's the texture. It just feels nice writing on it, touching. Um,
Yeah.
so that's been my iPad. It's been great. There was something I wanted to talk about. That kind of disgusts me, and I mean it's gonna disgust you guys as well. So I have a friend. I'm not gonna name names because I'm not gonna out him or anything like that. Um, by the way, he's probably gonna watch this. So if you guys want to say anything to him, you certainly can and express your disgust to him. But so a few months ago, I think like this was like in the summertime, he came up to me and was like thinking about switching from Android to iPhone. I was like, yeah, I mean, it's good. Of course, I always recommend go to your nearest Apple store, try it out, see if you actually like it before you upgrade to it. So he's like, yeah, and then I was like, there's an Apple event coming up in September, so maybe wait and see the what they announce. So he like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. So he did. The iPhone 14 Pro get announced. He's like, I want the iPhone 14. I'm like, cool, like, cool. So I'm pretty sure he pre-ordered it and bought it and got it. So he has the iPhone 14. It is currently January 9th. He has yet to put to switch over service and actually use the phone. He's been using it as an iPod Touch since he got it in September. He's been using it as an iPod Touch. And he's like, he tells me all the time, he's like, oh, it's really good for Netflix and everything. I'm like, yeah, but how's the phone aspect of it?
That's like Roy. That's like Roy with his Pixel.
No,
Roy,
so
Roy. Oh, hold up. So Roy and I both have two lines of service, and we both have a Pixel and an iPhone. I have a 13 Pro, and or Pro Max, and he has a 14 Pro Max. So we both have it, and he talks and rants about how much he loves the Pixel experience, but he never texts me on it. Like he generally doesn't carry it because I text him on it and then he never replies back, or he'll reply back late at night when he actually pulls it out of his pocket. Now, on the other hand, I carry two phones. I have two phones that I am very passionate about carrying, and I carry them together. I put them like this and I drop them in one pocket, or I'll take this one. If it's like the weekend, I'll put my iPhone 14 Pro and I'll drop it into my, or 13, and I'll drop it into my backpack or my bag or whatever. Or sometimes I might not even take it. But I generally carry around both, and I'm easily connectable by both. And Roy just sits there and uses it to play games, whatever, I guess. 'Cause, yeah, he
It's
never texts me
a,
on it.
a 14 Pro. A 14 Pro.
no. So I do like the Pixel 7. I think it's a fantastic device. To carry around two and use two is cumbersome. Okay. You, Mr. Work from home the majority of the time, and can just put them on the desk in front of you. That's a
Hey,
whole
I
lot
go
different
out.
lifestyle.
No. I go out just as much. Like I go out every single day. When I go out and take the dogs out, I take them both out with me. When I go to do shopping errands, I take them both with me. I generally take them both with me, accessible. So, my Android friends that I have my Pixel line number so that they can text me through RCS. My iPhone people have my iPhone number so they can message me through iPhone, because that's the way that Apple wants it. So, that's
I
the way
would
I
rather
treat
just switch back and forth whenever I get the itch.
Uh, I will tell you, in my shopping cart, I do have a Pixel watch on there, and I'm trying to decide if I should wear two watches.
No, don't do it.
I'm gonna back Tim up on that. Also, with everything that you and I have talked about how horrible it is as a first generation product and to wait for the second generation, you should just wait for the second generation. It's
Yeah.
not
It is,
worth
but
it.
it's only $299 though on
It'll be
uh
like $199 in
renewal.
like 3 weeks because Google's gonna drop the price because they're gonna get desperate, or they're gonna give it to everyone that subscribes to YouTube Premium because they're gonna get desperate.
That's a good idea. Everybody that gets YouTube Premium should get a free Apple Watch. Agree with that.
As much as I like the idea of a Pixel Watch and how it would do a lot to kind of close the ecosystem for Pixel a little bit more, I just there's too many discrepancies in the first generation uh, Pixel Watch that I would like to see addressed in a second generation watch before I could even consider using one myself.
That bezel though, the bezel.
I mean, the bezel is what the bezel is. I don't think it's that
But
bad. You're not going
yeah,
to see the bezel too
I
often.
I
It's
saw
it's
it.
the way the digital crown works, and it's the battery life are my two biggest ones.
Yeah, I saw the bezel. The bezels, I mean, it looks a lot like what the iPhone, or excuse me, the first generation Apple Watch looked like. The first generation before the first generation. So there was the
The
original Apple
Series
Watch,
Zero.
yeah, Series 0 or whatever they
That's
called
what
it.
people call it.
The Apple Watch edition, the gold
The
one.
Apple yeah, the very first one before generation 1. But anyways, it does look a lot like that. I did compare a little bit to it online and saw some side by side comparisons of it, and I do think that it is very much like the first generation Apple product. The downfall is I don't think that Google is going to switch it up as much next year. I think it's going to still have the big bezels. And I don't think we're going to see a big change in the design for probably a couple years. So I think we're going to again have most of the same. So.
You know, the Galaxy Watch has a pretty decently sized bezel as well, but the difference is that it's a touch bezel, so there's actually functionality behind the bezel. You can rotate your finger around the bezel and it scrolls through things. So maybe if Google keeps the bezel, maybe generation 2 they add touch functionality to it like Samsung does.
Yeah, I mean, we very
At
well
least
could
give
see
it a
that.
purpose.
Yeah,
It's a
we
lot
very
easier
well,
to sell the bezel if it's there for a really good reason.
yeah, we very well could see it. So, yeah. So, anyways, Joe, how was your holiday? Joseph?
It was pretty chill. I didn't have
Yeah.
all that given to me in terms of tech. I went home to visit family, which was very nice since I hadn't seen my family in a year. So that was
Nice.
fun. I also
Nice.
started reading a manga that I'm a huge fan of, JoJo's
Oh, nice.
Bizarre Adventure Part 7, which
I'm not that far.
yeah, it's a fat reach. I'm sure nobody listening to this podcast has any idea what I'm talking about, but really got into that, and I had a really nice time out there. Seattle's a
Nice.
gorgeous city. The Pacific
know.
Northwest is so sweet.
I do love Seattle. Like when I'm
Yeah.
driving through Seattle or whenever, and stuff like that, I really do love Seattle.
Yeah, I miss it.
There, that being said, there's a lot of other cities that I do love too as well, outside of Washington, like New York, is really nice. I love Los Angeles. If you've ever been in Hollywood, and stuff like that, it's really cool. Lots of great scenery and stuff like that. So, Las Vegas is kind of cool too, and there's a few other places too that I like. Palm Springs is really nice too. So, but Seattle does top my list, I think. So, yeah. Well, I'm glad you got home for the holidays. That was really good. You didn't have any flight delays, I take it?
No, I was one of the lucky ones. So, well, I guess
Nice.
it's not entirely true. When I was flying out, I had 3 hours delayed on my flight. But after I landed, when I was getting my bags, over the intercom, the airport said, every Alaskan airline flight is canceled.
It's canceled.
Yeah, they canceled every flight after I landed because the tarmacs were so like out of shape. It was rough.
Yeah, I was watching it on the news. I saw all the heartbreaks. It's a lot like that.
Rough.
It was a lot like that movie Four Christmases when they're. I don't know if you guys ever seen it, but it was. Yeah, they were live at the airport and everything and stuff like that, and it was like San Francisco though, and they couldn't get out because of the fog, so they canceled
Yeah.
all the flights and everything and stuff like that. But yeah, it was very. Okay, so what else happened while we were gone? I got a question for everybody. Is everybody? I know the answer to it. Podcast. Is everybody still on Twitter?
Yep.
No, I quit Twitter, you know. No, I'm still on Twitter.
I did start up a Mastodon server. Mastodon. I did start up a Mastodon server over the week, over the holiday, which is kind of cool. I had never done it before.
Yeah, I saw you got some pretty big names in there now.
Yeah, Tim Cook joined our Mastodon server, which is
It's because him and I are besties, and he was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll join."
It's crazy. Did you see his post? Something like, "I love Roy" or something like that.
I tried telling you guys.
anyways,
crazy.
it was funny though because he took Tim's username. Like we were all supposed to have our own username. He took Tim's username, so
I know. I gotta buy it from him.
I can go in there and suspend it and give it to you, Tim. So.
We'll see. I think I can convince Tim Cook to let me buy it from him for a couple bucks.
A couple bucks.
We'll
I
see.
can negotiate that.
I'd go for
We'll
more
see.
than a couple bucks.
We'll see.
Let's see what else happened over the weekend or the week. The holiday. I shouldn't say the week. The holiday period. I made my new Funko Pop. I will share it on Twitter. But yeah, I did the. We do it on New Year's Eve. Stuff like that. It's kind of tradition that we make one for every year. So I made our 20. It's technically our 2022 Funko Pop because made this one back in 2021. So I don't have blue glasses, but I would. But my Funko character has it. And my wife got one too. We spent a lot of money at Funko store, and then we went to BoboCon, which is a local, it's a local Star Wars retro. I mean, they have everything in there: Star Trek, Star Wars, Barbie. I think there's even in there.
If it's a retro game, they have it, or a retro toy, they have it.
Yeah. Which is really cool. So we went there. I spent a bunch of money there. Got 2 new prints. Can't really see them because it's cut out, but I did share them on my Instagram. And then what else? Then we left there and went to the Hallmark store, and you can't. You can see it. So right here is my Death Star. It's kind of blinded out the light, but that's my Death Star tree topper that I got this year. It doesn't fit on my tree, so
it's a big tree topper.
It is a big tree topper, but it lights up. It has a lightsaber, and if you do it, it plays the Star Wars song. Well, it has a connection where you can connect all the ornaments together. And there's like a Obi-Wan, Darth Vader, a Leia, Chewie, and Luke. There's a bunch of them. And so anyways, I didn't get any of those, but we went to the Hallmark store afterwards to do a return because I bought, can't really right here. It's like it's like a lava lamp type thing, but it's got Star Wars ships inside of it, but it was leaking. So I had to return it and exchange it. And so I went in there to return and exchange it. And they had all the Hallmark ornaments for Star Wars 50% off, which made them $20 because they were $40 originally. So I ended up buying all of them, and a bunch more Star Wars ones that weren't part of the collection and stuff like that. So, yeah, it was a really expensive day after Christmas, or a couple days after Christmas, I was. But, and then next year I'm getting a giant tree actually to put in here that will actually take my tree topper, and I'll put it on there. Really excited for that. So, anyways.
I did also do a bunch of reading while I was on vacation. I started reading JoJo as well, just like Joseph did, except for I'm not nearly as far as he is. I'm about halfway through part 2, and I've also been reading Berserk, two mangas.
During part of my winter break, as I was studying for the A+ exam. So basically, A+ is a exam you can take to technicians for if you work in IT. It's a standardized certification that if you look up IT jobs, most IT jobs either require it or look for candidates that have it. So it's good to have. But the thing is, it's very much like if you work in help desk, there's a lot of technical questions and you have to learn a lot. So it's been learning about Windows, Linux, and a lot about Mac OS. It's been um just learning the different everything. Like I learned that Mac OS file system is called APFS. That's
Oh yeah,
been
yeah.
interesting. I've been just like learning just about tools and stuff.
That's their newest one too. They had an older one. I can't remember what it was called, but they did have an older one too,
Okay.
before. But the new Apple file system was introduced a few years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's been interesting learning about that. And then like some of the questions are just like in depth. Like
Yeah.
it's
I
been
remember you asking us for the one about the hard drive encryption.
yeah, that was
File vault.
file vault. Well, I was pretty sure that was the answer, but I didn't want to risk losing that point. And so it's been interesting. I've been watching highly recommend if anyone out there listening is interested in doing A+ certification. Professor Messer on YouTube, he uploads free courses, and his courses are actually really in depth. He's been in the IT industry for many, many, many years, and he's written all these courses, and he does a really good job in depth and everything. Like he did a video that was like maybe half an hour on just Mac OS and going through everything in Mac OS, command line, everything. Little stupid features that you need to check if you're troubleshooting Mac OS, like just everything, like really cool in-depth features. And then same thing with Linux. Like most of Linux is all command line based, so it's very that part was very confusing. And then
Linux and Mac are a lot similar, but
they're both based off the Unix
yeah, they are.
system.
Yeah. And I use command line all the time, like every day. So it's actually in my dock. So is the terminal app. So but
yeah, I'm trying to I want to learn
I use
Windows
Bash.
PowerShell.
I use Bash. Yeah. Yeah, PowerShell is good too to learn. Stuff like that. I don't know PowerShell as much as I do, but I mean there's a lot of PowerShell commands. I was watching a YouTube video on it the other day. There was a lot on there too. So, but I use command line every day. There's a command shortcut I do to it's to reset my because a lot of times I'll redesign my dock and I have an extra space in my dock to like space things out and stuff like that. And there's a command line terminal function that you can do to add that. So
Okay.
so yeah, I use terminal all the time to reset things or mess around with my
yeah, it's been fun. I'm planning on taking my my first exam on Sunday, so I'm studying up for that right now. And then
Exciting.
you have to go into a testing center to do it, or
it's all from home. So and then I have I'm working on my second course, and then I need to schedule my second exam here pretty soon. So it's just been studying. I turned on the Xbox to try and play. I downloaded the game High on Life. It's a game from Justin Roiland, the creator of Rick and Morty, and I was wanting to play that during my winter break, but then I was like, I should probably just do school, and I spent the entire winter break just school every day.
Nice.
So I haven't
Um,
been able to play
how
games.
how's your 1Password experience going?
Oh my gosh, 1Password's way better than LastPass. If you're watching this and you have LastPass, get rid of it. It's absolute trash. It
How long
freaking
did we try to
sucks.
convince you
How
of
long
this?
did we tell you? We
You
told
never
this
told
is-
me.
We
Oh,
did.
we've tried telling you.
We've tried
You
telling you. You were like,
Rewind
no.
the tapes.
I've mentioned it every time I talk about what's on my phone or anything. Like anything. 1Password is the best password manager out there, and if you don't have it, you should have it.
It's the autofill for changing the password is amazing. It works perfectly. On LastPass, it's like, here's a password you should do, and then you do it, and you change it, and then LastPass is like, huh? And it doesn't remember the password that you just changed it to, and then it
Ouch.
forgets. It's the worst. It like sucks. And then also just the amount of like security you have to go through for 1Password is
Yeah,
stellar. Like,
don't lose your backup, like, because you will never get back into your password vault.
no, yeah.
I
And
I,
then
lear- I learned that the hard way when I first got
Me
it.
too.
Like, I didn't save it, and I didn't save it anywhere. Like, I have it in like 4 different places now that are hidden and secured, and
dang.
like, I mean, it's just like, um yeah.
I
So
uh I decided to upgrade my account to a family account, and I added Zoe. So now we
yeah,
have access to a bunch of our joint accounts. Um
yeah. It's so much nicer. You can share with it and stuff like that, and
yeah.
yeah,
So she's
it's
been going through and just updating all of her uh passwords, because a lot of them she forgot like what she set it to, and then like trying to get into everything
I
and
did
it's
that.
not
I did
working.
that. I did that like a few years ago. I went into everything that was in there and I just did a password reset, and I just reset every password with a new
Mhm.
Yeah.
password because I had so many passwords that were like, not the correct password and everything and stuff like that. And then I set up the two-factor authentication with that. That is my
Yeah.
that is my pretty much only two-factor authentication app I use. So,
I've had to go through and change a bunch of my passwords since a lot of my accounts were on LastPass, and since that got data breach thanks to LastPass. That's been just going through everything and making sure that passwords are changed. For the important accounts, there's a lot of accounts I still got to do, but the
yeah.
really important ones are all good.
Yeah. And I like that they'll tell you if their password's exposed and stuff like that on the dark web, like, due to a data breach, there's that. I mean, it's easy to share passwords with your friends and family and stuff like that. Like mine is there too as well. And there's another built-in feature too that you probably haven't heard about, privacy.com, but it's basically a way that you can create a credit card number for a certain service. So for some of our streaming services and some of our things, we have a separate credit card that's managed through 1Password and privacy.com. And basically, it gives you a credit card number, and then you can set the threshold amount so they can never charge more than that amount, and they can only charge it like once a month, stuff like that. So for like Netflix and some of our streaming services that we have reoccurring charges for, we have a separate card number set up for that individual one, and then it basically it can only charge that amount. And then if that gets hacked or whatever, let's say Netflix has a hack, and credit cards were compromised, all you have to do is go in there and reset that credit card number. You don't have to get a whole new credit card. So we've been using that for a lot of our online purchases and stuff like that to protect ourselves. So um, worth looking into if you do a lot of reoccurring purchases, and stuff like
I've
that.
I've thought about signing up for that service, but it's just I have a lot of security concerns, especially with I mean, it makes sense if you just have one card for that, especially if it's a credit card, and then if let's say that for some reason that entire account gets breached, you can just cancel that credit card and uh,
Yeah.
dispute the charges. But I've always
They
been
have they have a really good security thing. So
okay.
like I mean they're there's a whole page you can go read about their security. It's privacy.com, I think, plus security or something like that. But you can read all about it and stuff like that. It's I mean
Yeah.
it's yeah. And
Before
they have a free plan. It's up to 12 cards a month, or you can do the
okay.
$10 a month and get even more. You can get even more cards and you get cash back and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
And then it's all hidden directly from merchants. So
I was going to because I wanted ultimate security for my passwords and everything. I was looking into hosting it my password manager myself and setting up a
don't do it.
VPN to
Don't
be
do
able
it.
to VPN into my server and do that. I was going to do that, but then I'm like, this is really dumb. Like as I was
Trust
setting it up.
trust one password. Like I mean honestly, like there's a lot of password managers out there, but I'll tell you, like I used a couple ones before one password, and like I thought about switching again to other password managers. I even looked into one pass or LastPass. But I was like, I looked at it and I'm like, this is no way secure. This is no way, like this is like lame. Like um um I kind of like I've always hoped that Apple would buy one password and stuff like that, because I feel like that would be a good service for their portfolio. Um but at the same time I don't want them to, because I feel like they might kill the integrations to some of the other services or whatnot.
Why
Uh
does why does Apple still push the built-in password manager?
because it's their password manager.
Wonder
So
if they're ever
but
gonna
you can
replace
change
it.
it. No, I don't think so. I mean,
Not
uh
unless they buy a service.
yeah, they're they're integrating passkeys right now, I think, in there. I think it just launched. I think it just launched like a couple. I think it just launched in iOS 16. Is passkeys, which allow you to sign into services with your iPhone and stuff like that. It would send you a passkey and then you type in. It's like a two-factor authentication.
Yeah, I want
But
to say it did
yeah,
launch with 16.
yeah, I think it launched with 16, but I don't know of a lot of services that use it and stuff like that. So we'll kind of see how it adapts to it and stuff like that. Excuse me, one password is also invested in that too and stuff like that. So yeah, kind of see how it rolls out. Ask you. Oh, Tim, have you tried Fantastical?
I did a long time ago. I have not downloaded it since you gave me access to
What
it.
the hell? What the hell?
I
I
I have
gave
not
you a premium subscription and you
I
haven't
haven't
even
used it.
downloaded it.
Not yet. I was thinking about it. I was like, I
What?
just
That
haven't
is
yet.
oh.
Okay, I will you know what? You know what, Matt? I will do it right now.
You do not know what you're missing.
I am currently opening the App Store. Or am I
If you want to
faking it?
share, if you want to share, um, like if you want to share your availabilities, they have a service called Openings where you can actually send a link to your availabilities that you want people to do, and they can go in there and schedule an appointment time with you. I mean, there's
Oh,
so
that's
many
cool.
things. There's widgets. There's a million widgets on there for your home screen, for your iPhone lock screen. I mean, it's insane. You don't know what you're missing.
I'm signing in right now. Start trial later. How do I
You just log in with your Gmail account
I
because I put your
did.
Gmail account, and
Oh,
it
I think I see
should
it.
yeah it should give you a premium.
We'll have to try this out. I've been working on my New Year's resolution for myself is to be better organized So I've been pushing to put everything into Notion and use Notion as my like organization stuff
So
and
I
everything.
sent- the other thing too, I sent you a list of somebody that does Notion templates on there. His
Yes.
name's Tony. Should really check him out. He has a really cool subscription one.
I
Um,
downloaded his 12 weeks 12 week clean template to
yeah,
where it's supposed to help you do something in 12 weeks. And I already did. I completed my rings and I completed 5 tickets at work.
nice. So the other thing too, like, don't get too invest. Here's the thing that a lot of people do when they get Notion. And this is one of the things that burnt me out. Is I try to put everything into Notion when I shouldn't be putting everything into Notion. Notion is great for great things, but it's not great for everything. But it can work in conjunction with other things. So like, I use Craft for some like quick notes and stuff like that, and then I use Notion for different uh some other different things and stuff like that. But um and then for like task, I use um TickTick now. I was
Mhm.
previous using Todoist, but TickTick is really MKBHD uses it, and it's really good. It integrates with your calendar. It puts everything on your calendar, so you know what you have to do at what time and all that. So, um, if you guys are looking for an awesome uh, to-do list, check out TickTick because it's really
Tick
good.
tick.
And it works on multiple different platforms. So Android, iPhone, iPad, Mac, web, Windows. It works on everything. So
I'm downloading right now.
yeah. So it's a good,
I
and you can
too am
share it.
downloading.
You can share it with other people too and stuff like that. So you can share your task and assign them to other people. So for example, if you need Zoe to do something or whatever, you can assign a task to her. Um, and then you're probably going to be sleeping on the couch for the next month or so. But
I was about to be like, I can send Outlook. I was gonna use, what if I just force us to use Outlook and it'd be like, check my Outlook calendar, and then like force Outlook events, meeting events, in like
you can
conference
just
rooms.
send her. You can no. You just send her an openings request and say book a time on my calendar.
Would you like to do dinner tonight at 6:30 and meet in the dining room conference room?
Yeah. Yeah. You could put a living room, set up your own like rooms at home, conference room, office, bedroom.
Oh
And
my gosh, that would be so like corporate. Like, sorry, I have to join the dinner from mobile because I'm currently running late.
have a Zoom room set up in your living room. Pretty good. So, I will tell you my chair broke. Um, that I'm using my wife's chair right now. Um, so my chair broke and I tried to replace the gas thing that makes it go up and down, stuff like that. Um, and I completely destroyed my chair. So I ordered a new chair. Did anybody guess what chair I ordered?
The Apple chair.
And Tim, you have any?
The Samsung chair. No, Herman Miller.
I ordered the Star Wars Stormtrooper chair from Secret Labs.
Hold on.
They have two different versions. They have the Imperial one and they have the Storm, but the white one I felt
Oh
just kind
my.
of. Isn't that cool?
Sorry, did you get the Stormtrooper?
I got the Stormtrooper, the white one.
Oh my gosh. What
Isn't
the
that
heck?
isn't that awesome?
What? How much did this cost?
Like $700 like
You
that.
can, dang, you can finance a freaking chair.
Yeah.
Gosh.
So it even rotates back and everything and stuff like that. So you can back everything is it's God, it is so amazing. So the only downfall is it doesn't ship until May. So
That's worth it. It's worth a
It-
little bit of time.
yeah, that's what I thought too. I was like, maybe I should because Secret Labs I've always heard has good chairs and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So I thought about getting like one of the all black ones or something like that, or another edition of it. But I'm like, I'm in a Star Wars office. Like, I need a Star Wars chair. And so I bought
If you
this.
go to when you go to Disneyland and Star Wars Land, you should just wheel around in that chair all day long.
Um yeah, no. So it's supposed to come in May. But I'm hoping it'll come early. But I did say uh either by like May 15th or earlier. So but yeah,
That's cool.
there's obviously been a lot of demand. They sold out their first round, and then they had a second round that was scheduled for like April or something. And that one sold out. So I ended up getting the so
I see that in this app there was a calendar feature.
yeah,
You don't use the calendar in this?
I do.
Oh, you
So
do?
you can connect it to your Google Calendar, and then it pulls all your events from there, and then you can schedule your tasks based on what's in your Google Calendar.
And
So
then you also sync it with Fantastical?
I don't think it was fantastical. No, I
Okay.
think it with. So I use Google Calendars as my calendar app, and then what I do from there is then sync that with my um, TickTick, and then my events will then show up on there because TickTick has access to my Google Calendar to read it.
Yeah,
Oh,
so like I use iCal because I have a bunch of family calendars that like my mother-in-law, my wife, and everybody uses. Whatever, ignore Matt.
yeah.
And anybody that's in my family group has access to them because I have all my family on my family Apple subscription. And so Fantastical pulls from iCal and TickTick pulls from iCal. So it's all integrated. I imagine it does the same thing with Google Calendars.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Google Calendar is better than iCal. When are you guys gonna learn? Let's see. Anything else that we missed?
There was a small little indie event that took place in Vegas.
Oh yeah, CES.
Do we want to do a full podcast on that, or do we just want to go through like a few little things?
Well, we only have like 5 minutes left.
Okay, let's save it for another time.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I didn't see a lot of things that I liked.
Dude,
Everybody
so
was
did
all
you
up in arms about that Lenovo foldable
No,
laptop.
so
That
okay,
was
the
kinda,
the Lenovo stuff is dumb, but it's like interesting to like look at. Like the one that had the e-ink display, I'll never own that device. But it's still like interesting that they thought about that and
yeah.
like enough to actually have one there that works, kinda. Um or the double screen laptop, the DS laptop.
Yeah.
I didn't see a whole lot that I liked, like last year, I have the LG Dual up. Samsung launched a new monitor, but it just didn't appeal to me. Like there wasn't a lot that I saw. I mean, I'm not a Samsung person anyways. Um, I'm very invested in the LG. But you know, it's a good monitor. Like LG love it. Like is is one of the best monitors. I'm actually thinking about replacing my TV with it and putting another bookshelf there so that I can put more collectibles on it and just using my Apple TV on my LG Dual up because I can split the screens into two different inputs and stuff like that. So I could have my TV up above, I could have my second computer monitor down here. Like I feel like it would just be it would be better to do that. I may end up trying that, and stuff like that, but I think I'm going to get a new Apple TV before I do that. So, because this one's just really old back here. It's not even a 4K one. Not that this is a 4K monitor, but I feel like I should get a new Apple TV. Try this out.
Speaking of Apple, I don't know if you guys have been seeing it. Of course, it's all rumors, but there's a ton of rumors speculating that Apple's going to have some kind of event in early this year, whether it's February
They
or
always have,
March.
they generally always have a spring event. Before COVID did at least.
Okay.
They haven't had it the last few years, I think, because of that. I did hear that they canceled the iPhone SE version that was supposed to come out either this year or next year. Just mostly because the iPhone 14 and 14 Plus are not doing very well, I guess, in selling. I think they should bring back the mini, I guess. I don't know. I think what they should do, I think the mini should be the new iPhone SE.
Yeah.
Agreed, 100%.
Yeah. I think that's the way they should go with it.
Also, I've heard that I mean, of course, rumors, but I've heard that Apple has stopped working on the SE to focus more on their AR glasses or VR glasses.
I mean, I speculate that they stopped the iPhone SE because they want to push people towards the iPhone 14, and they talked about lowering the price of the iPhone 14 in order to make it more of an introductory price, and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I suspect that we'll probably see some type of price drop or something like that for the iPhone, either the 14 or the 15, so that they can try and push people more towards that instead of it producing a special phone just for them. And then, so I think they could drop maybe the iPhone 14 Plus down more towards the iPhone 14, and then drop the iPhone 14 down like $100 or something like that, more towards a reasonable price point and stuff, just to kind of get people in there. But then again, I don't think we're going to see a lot of the pro features that we see coming on there from the iPhone 14 Pro that gets, generally knocked down eventually, but who knows? Yeah, who knows what Apple's going to do, but that's just my theory on it. But yeah, they do have a spring event coming up. I mean, we have another iPad lineup. They're behind on their M chip rollout. We still haven't seen a Mac Pro version of the M1. They're still selling the M1 or the Mac Pro with the Intel chip, which is, I mean, who's going to buy it?
I think we'll see M3 with the Mac Pro.
I think they're going to do the M2 Ultra. To be honest, I think they're still pushing the M3 chip out, or the M2 chip out, or excuse me, the M2 chip out right now. So I think we're still going to see the M2 because the M2 is not even in the MacBook series yet, or is it?
MacBook Pro?
Yeah, there is a MacBook Pro, but we don't have the Ultra versions yet. So I think we're going to see an Ultra or a really high performance chip that's an M2 for the Mac Pro, but we'll see.
I say when it comes to the M series, all bets are off. When they introduced the M1 Max and M1 Ultra or M1 whatever the ones they made above the M1, like I was super surprised that they went that far because I mean the M1 was already powerhouse, and then shortly after that they turned around and unleashed the M2. It seemed like a really quick turnaround between those two events. So I'm done trying to guess what Apple's going to do with their M series chips because they've thrown me off both times.
Yeah, no, but again, they still have that one Mac out there still sitting there with an Intel chip, which is
surprises me that they didn't throw the M2 on that M2.
Someone's buying it. There's got to be one person out there.
I don't know. I mean, because that's a lot of money to spend. Those computers go up. So,
which Mac is it?
It's the Mac Pro.
The Mac Pro.
Oh, the Mac Pro.
Yeah.
The fact that it's still sitting on an Intel chip is super surprising.
Yeah, I heard that we could see maybe the trash can return because of the way the M1 chip is. So I suspect that we might see an M1. I mean, I feel like they would have done it maybe with the studio version, is made it into the trash can, but I don't know. But
I
yeah,
love the trash can Mac. If they bring that back, I will be really happy.
I would too. Like I think the trash can was a I mean, I know it didn't give very well, but I did really like the design. It was really cool. So, um kind of hope they do, but it had its problems, like, power and performance wise, and stuff like
Hmm.
that. But I like, some people have speculated that it's going to come back, but I feel like if they were going to do it, they would have done it with the Mac Studio and called it the Mac
Have the
Studio.
studio take the
The
place
Mac
of the
the
Pro.
Mac Studio looks more like the Mac Mini, just bigger. So, um, anyway, um, and then we have the iMac Pro uh is gone. They've never reintroduced that too. So I think we could see like an iMac Pro and a Mac Pro maybe this later this year. Um, possibly in the spring event or at WWDC, probably.
Yeah.
All right, we can wrap it up there. I think we talked about pretty much everything. So,
Yep.
anybody have any final thoughts?
I think we're good.
All right. Thanks for joining us for the Hangout. We will see you in not next week, but the following week, probably, since we're going to another. So, anyways, have a great week, guys, everybody, and we'll catch you next time on the Hangout.